Hi, everyone. I'm Bruno Aziza, and welcome to another episode of Data Journeys. This is where we come to learn from data leaders, their success, also their best practices, and their journey. And today I'm really excited to have Sanjay with us. Sanjay is Vice President of Product Management at Exabeam. Just to give you a sense, before we get into the company, 1,200 machine learning detections, 100 petabyte plus of data processed and stored annually, system built on top of BigQuery, Spanner, PubSub, Dataflow, a custom serving layer that gives you results in seconds. And so this is a great example of building a data product, and we're going to learn how to do that today. So Sanjay, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thanks for having me, Bruno.
All right, let's get right into it. What does Exabeam do?
Yeah, Exabeam is a cybersecurity company. We are leader in SIEM and security analytics. We have been leader on Gartner's Magic Quadrant for 3 years in a row. Exabeam has a very unique approach in terms of threat detection and incident response using machine learning. Our product works directly on top of existing security stacks customers have, and it provides a holistic visibility in terms of their cybersecurity threat landscape. We're very excited to announce our new portfolio product this week in our Spotlight event, Build on Google Cloud. And these products allows customers to either start the journey by leveraging our machine learning and analytics products on top of their existing stack, or use our full SOC operations platform to get the complete visibility.
So you're on top of two big domains here. One is, of course, security, and two is analytics, two really hot topics for customers. But also what you're exemplifying is essentially how do you build a data product? So we're going to talk a lot about this today. Before we get there, talk to us a little bit about your architecture. What does the environment look like? What are you using from the Google Cloud stack?
Absolutely. One of the reasons I personally liked Google Cloud is the differentiated machine learning and advanced and analytics capability. I don't have to go to 5 different vendors to get my ingestion products, analytics products, data stores, processing products. So we use complete serverless stack on Google Cloud for ingestion products like PubSub and Cloud Functions, analytics products like BigQuery and Looker, serverless storage products like GCS, Spanner, Bigtable, and of course, serverless processing with Cloud Run and Dataflow. So yeah, I think we are very excited what we have found on Google Cloud, and love to share that with the rest of the people.
And so tell me a little bit about the scale as well, because you're using just about every part of the stack and you're using it at a gigantic scale. So share with us some numbers here. How much data is processed, how much is stored, how many machine learning models you're running, how many predictions and detections you're running.
Yeah, Exabeam, since we sit on top of other security products, and customers have on an average 50 different security products, and security teams like to get visibility into everything. They want to know everything a user has done from morning till night. They want to get visibility into all the assets. And that is how they keep track of all these cybersecurity threats. So in terms of our cybersecurity and platform, our security operations platform, we have integration with 500 different vendor products. We bring in and process more than 100 petabytes of data every year. Some of our customers store their cybersecurity data for more than 6-7 years. And this is also a compliance mandate, especially if you are banking customers with PCI compliance, or healthcare customers with HIPAA compliance. You are required to store data much longer, and auditors can always ask that data from you. We differentiate using machine learning and advanced analytics compared to traditional security operations product. We have more than 1,200 machine learning model-based detections running for every tenant. We support 1 million plus events per second processing per tenant across 7 different geographies or regions. So yeah, we run a massive big data platform.
So it's a combination of scale, lots of data processed, but also a lot of data activated, 7 regions, and it's a global operation. So
Yeah.
what are the products that are coming out of it? of this amazing platform you just described?
I think as a product leader, there's nothing more exciting than launching a new product in the market. And this week on October 17th, in Exabeam Spotlight, we announced 5 different offerings built on a holistic security operations platform. And this is a great partnership. We also had some executives from Google side joining us in this launch. So we are very proud of this partnership where Exabeam has delivered this cloud scale cybersecurity platform. And it took us less than 12 months to get this done. So this is even a story worth telling. The platform allows limitless EPS processing. So cybersecurity industry has been struggling with this EPS speeds and feeds. So this gives Exabeam customers unlimited processing capability. Also allows us to do search and detections on multi-year data in seconds, which is the holy grail of cybersecurity, because there are certain attacks where the attack vectors are sleeping in your environment for 6 months, 7 months, and you want to go back and forth to find those attacks. And of course, the insights, security insights to our customers using dashboarding, reporting, visualization, especially custom visualization, gets built in minutes for our customers. So I'm very excited about what we are offering, and this is going to be a highly disruptive offering in our space.
Tell us a little bit about why Google Cloud here. Like, what role did it play? Why did you bet on that to build your product?
Trying all the cloud platforms during my last 6 or 7 years journey, I believe in POCing everything and based on business requirements. And this is why there are just so many data products. There are NoSQL data products, there are analytics data products, transactional data products. So every business requirements have different data capabilities. So we first of all POC'd everything we wanted, and Google stood out in that POC process. I'm not a big believer of believing in analyst report, but some of the areas where analysts have ranked Google really high in their data analytics capability turn out to be really, really true. The second thing is the end-to-end stack. I didn't want to bring Kafka and then have half of the stack open source, half of the stack from Google. I wanted to make sure we have end-to-end stack in data offering. And the Google Cloud Platform was unique in that sense that they have the complete data and AI offering from ingestion, processing, analytics, machine learning, storage. And all of those are really differentiated, high-quality offering. Especially ML offering. Google has definitely differentiated ML offering because of the work Google team has done on TensorFlow papers. And so what we found with ML was only Google offers today unified stream and batch processing capabilities for machine learning workloads. And Vertex AI has really good capabilities around reducing your model training and ML operation reduction capabilities. Serverless. Yeah, so this is a unique thing about Google's data stack is a complete data stack starting from BigQuery or Spanner, Dataflow, Pub. So it's all serverless, no management overhead, which is so important for us. We are a security company. We are not a data company. If we want to hire 5 people, we want to hire those 5 people on threat intelligence, threat detections, rather than fixing data problems. So serverless with low overhead was a big win for us. And last but not the least, the people on the Google side, very, very talented people. I especially want to thank the customer sales engineer who was assigned to our account. This person went out of his way to make us successful with the products. And these were some of the reasons which helped us pick Google's data analytics capabilities.
Really, thank you for saying that. But also, I love the fact that you say, hey, we're a security company. We're not a data company. So it's important for us to partner with a company that's a data company to get it done. And really been able to ship this in less than 12 months. Pretty amazing. Now, this is not your first rodeo. You were at HP before running big data. You were at VMware involved in big data as well. So what we want to learn from you now is, what have you learned across these various journeys, various companies, various products that you've helped build? And I'm going to start with the positive. We do the do's and the don'ts. So we want to know the positive. What are the 3 things that if you were to talk to yourself 5 years ago at the beginning of your journey, what would you tell yourself to really go out and make sure you do?
Yeah, any big data transformation you're doing, I would say think of 10x scale. If I remember my early days at HP when we had a product called Oversight, which was offering SIEM offering. At that time, products like McAfee, Symantec were very popular, and they were sending 10 GB, 20 GB of data per day. But today, if you look at same EDR product from CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Microsoft Defender, they're sending 10 terabytes, 15 terabytes of data to my customers, right? So when you're building a next generation platform, think 10x scale, minimum 10x scale. Don't just rebuild what based on the scale you have seen in your previous platform. And the second thing I would say, go cloud native. A lot of people, they bring on-premise to the cloud. That's not going to help you solve the scale problem. If you're going to bring products like Kafka, Spark, MongoDB, Elasticsearch on the cloud, I would rather recommend you to take cloud native offering, which will be much more serverless, much more easy to manage. Of course, it requires you to change your mindset because you have been using those products for the last 20 years. But think if those products can take you for next 10 or 15 years, it's important to think forward rather than backward. And the third thing I would say, try before you buy. There is a lot of market noise today. There are a lot of good vendors in data space, and I'm not discounting them. But I highly recommend people to, in our case, we uploaded petabytes of data into Google's data analytics products, real cybersecurity data. And then based on that decision, we took the buy decision. So these will be my 3 most important do's for people looking to do a big data transformation.
And when you say try, which is interesting about what you're saying, it's not just try a small POC with a small data set. Try like a real life environment, simulate what it would look like to be in production with this vendor, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, because often, I think that's where people get tripped up is the POCs looks nothing like the raw environment, and they get a different reaction. And then when they get into production with that solution, they realize cost is different, security is different, scale, performance is different. And so I think your example, you said 1 petabyte that you loaded?
Yeah. And we are thankful for Google for giving us the credits because the cost of running that POC ran in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
All right, so we talked about the do's. Now let's flip to the other side, which is what are the things that maybe you discovered through your own mistakes of others, things that you must absolutely avoid because you'll regret them later?
Yeah, first thing is don't ignore your SRE and operations overheads. A lot of products will be very capable, very performant, but they will add a huge SRE burden, huge operations burden. So think how this product scale. How do you add additional node to this product? How do you deploy this product across 7 different geographies? So don't think about just a single tenant. Think about in a multi-tenant ecosystem with your products running across multiple geographies. So SRE and operations becomes very critical. Second is don't ignore talent and training. Google Cloud products are highly differentiated, and they're not like your traditional Kafka or Spark. So there will be some training involved, and you have to have the talent pool. In my opinion, some of the success we have seen with our platform has come from the people who were involved in this process, my engineering team. And so this is where the whole debate about whether you should buy a good fighter or you have a better fighter pilot. I would say both are important. While Google can provide you one of the best fighters, if you don't have the fighter pilots, you won't be able to land smoothly. The last thing is don't ignore cost guardrails, especially on the cloud. Cloud can give you unlimited scale, and that unlimited scale can be very expensive in certain situations. So decide what workloads are business critical, where do you need how much scale, and put cost guardrails to see which situations you're okay with spending less and in which situations you're okay to spend more. Because unlimited scale can also mean unlimited budget cost, and business doesn't like to see those overheads.
So I've got 2 cool follow-up questions on this. The first one is on don't ignore talent. Tell me a little bit about your team composition. Like, how did you organize yourself? And the reason for why this is helpful is you're talking here to a lot of folks who might have a traditional organization, and up until now they haven't maybe organized to ship data products, but you are kind of in that business. So how should I organize myself?
So since we are a product company, we organize teams around product capabilities. So for cybersecurity customers, we offer data collection capabilities, products which can collect data from your on-premise resources, your cloud resources, your third-party security tools. So we have a whole team dedicated towards that, and the focus is on data collection. And then when data comes on the cloud, you have to process that, enrich that, meaningfully add context to that data. Otherwise, it's garbage in, garbage out into the platform. So we have ingestion and processing teams which are focused on converting the raw information into meaningful data. And then you have storage and analytics teams which are focused on storing that data into long-term, building the right data models, analyzing and presenting that data, so that when customers are using that information is available based on their SLAs. Some of the search can wait 10 seconds, 20 seconds, but the UI operations, if you have more than 1 minute delay, 1 second delay, users start feeling frustrated, right? So I would say organize your teams on your go-to-market and the products, especially if you're a product company, and look through the different data life cycles so that you can get some efficiencies across them.
So you've got the use case, you start with the use case, and then you have a team aligned to that. So I'm assuming you have a product manager, an engineering team, a product manager writes a product requirement document, just like any software company would do it. Do you have advice on ideal ratios, or or does it depend, on the complexity of the product? Like how many PMs should you have to how many engineers? Like what's the ideal?
Yeah, I think in general, you need to have a product manager around 20 engineers. But again, it depends on the complexity of your product. If you have a cloud product, since a lot of engineering is handled by the cloud provider itself, you're basically building your security intelligence or your core use cases on top of those products, then the engineering requirement reduces significantly. But yeah, generally you need a product manager across each of the customer facing offering. Anything where customer is involved in terms of clicking a UI, you want to start with the product management to see how the user experience look like rather than starting backwards. So,
and I assume you have horizontal functions for shared services like governance, security, and others. That might be a separate team just for that service that other products take advantage of.
So we have a team which is responsible for the holistic security platform. So all our product offering run on top of the same platform. So and in part of that platform, the platform team is responsible for all of those data masking, filtering, all of those GDPR compliance things as part of the platform itself.
Got you. Now, my follow-up question, I know that I said 2 questions, but it turned into a bunch of questions.
Yeah,
but, it's really interesting. So, you said don't ignore the cost guardrail. So how do you manage that yourself? Are you using reporting? Are you using trigger alerts? What capabilities or what have you built for yourself to make sure that you are staying within your guardrails for cost?
Yeah, our industry is under huge cost pressure. Customers, since security is a cost rather than a business, so customers would like to spend as less as possible on cost centers. And so our focus is to offer customers very powerful machine learning and analytics offering without increasing their cost. And the only way we can do that by controlling our own cost. And the process for this is measure every way the data is flowing into your data platform, right from collection to ingestion to processing to storage to analytics. Every value you deliver to the customer should have a cost assigned to it. And we generally value that through 1 GB of data. So what is the cost of collecting 1 GB of data? What is cost of processing that 1 GB of data and converting into a security intelligence? What is the cost of creating search and detections on the data and machine learning on top of that? So at every stage of your data lifecycle, take 1 GB of data and assign a cent amount or a dollar amount. And that'll give you understanding when this application is using these 5 components from the platform, this will be the cost rather than just overloading all the cost of a platform equally across all applications. There will be certain applications which use more machine learning and analytics. They will cost you more because they are doing in-stream analytics, versus other applications which are just doing search and queries. But yeah, that's an important way for you to understand. And then based on those guardrails, you can also control the features and functionality.
Great. So you start with a budget, assigned budget by the size, and then you have tooling and reporting that allows you to kind of detect when you're above that. How do you, and when you detect that, what happens? Do you stop? How do you manage that?
We go and we look at our assumptions. So before we launch any product, we do a thorough POC. We run these products in our in-house environment. Our cybersecurity team, Exabeam cybersecurity team, is the first guinea pig which is onboarded on these things, which gives us a complete visibility in terms of our cost. And every time we see cost overruns, we go back and see what was the mistake we made. And this is a continuous cycle. You always encounter new ways people can use your product. And then you have to find new ways to deliver value without breaking your bank. So this is a continuous process, but visibility into how data is flowing into your platform, what are the big buttons of cost in your platform, is very important for any leader who's building big data platforms.
Well, Sanjay, that was amazing. I could sit with you here for hours. I've got a lot more questions to ask you, but we'll let the community do that and reach out to you, which I hope they are going to do. We learned how to think about a POC in real life terms. You know, you loaded a lot of data and stress tested the system. So this is a big takeaway, I think, for us. Second one is how to organize yourself. If you're building data products, think about your product managers, writing product requirement documents, and interfacing with engineers. Sometimes the ratio of 1 product manager to 20 engineers is the right one. Assess what it's like at your company, but I think that's a big learning as well. And then you talked about how you orchestrate your entire platform and architecture. I really hope people are going to reach out to you to ask you more details. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. All right, well, if you want to know more stories just like this one, click on the link down below and make sure to reach to community members so you can learn from them. Until next time, I'm Bruno Aziza.